Hi, I'm Nick. I've been a digital nomad for 20 years, traveling to 73 countries so far. Today I'm going to talk about 10 essential apps for digital nomads. Coming up. Welcome to the Digital Nomad on Fire YouTube channel and podcast. I'm in Portugal today. I've had to close the door. There's a very loud dog barking next door, which is annoying. But today I will be talking about 10 essential apps for digital nomads, which I'm obviously reading off my screen here, which isn't very professional. 10 essential apps for travel for digital nomads. So number one, Maps.me and Google Maps. Now you're obviously familiar with Google Maps. I assume it's just an app on your smartphone that tells you where to go. The difference between that and Maps.me is primarily designed for offline maps. So if you're going to a country where you don't know if you'll have cell phone service, or even if you think you will, it's really useful to have all the places you're going on your trip downloaded onto your phone as an offline map. Because if for some reason you can't get internet, you can still get the map of where you are. And you can even do route finding now. So you can ask Maps.me how to get from where you are to your accommodation, and it works offline. So Maps.me is a great one for that. And obviously Google Maps and Apple Maps isn't bad now as well. So maps are a crucial one. VPN. I use a VPN a lot. I use it for work purposes, but also I use it for watching TV content overseas. And maybe if you're in a dodgy Wi-Fi connection in a cafe or something, it might be good just to throw a VPN on there as well. So that can be good for watching your TV shows. But often you'll need a fixed IP on the VPN if you want to watch BBC and maybe other places as well. So you have to double check if you need a fixed IP or not. Number three, Uber, Bolt, Lime, etc. Especially where I live in Prague, you can get an Uber most places you want to go for about $3 or $4 US dollars. Like Uber is not expensive. Bolt can be even cheaper. So Uber, Bolt, Lime is just for scooters. I don't think they have a taxi service, but that's another useful way of getting around, which can be fun, but it's obviously often not that cheap. So again, if you arrive in a city in the middle of the night or something and you need a taxi suddenly, or just for convenience if there's a lot of you, Uber and Bolt, very useful. SkyScanner. I usually book my flights through SkyScanner. Now what SkyScanner can do, which is really useful, is in addition to saying I want to go from London to New York on this date, and it will get you some cheap flights and search a lot of different airlines, you can say I want to go from London to New York in February and come back in March. But you can also say I want to go from London to South America and show me the cheapest flight per month this year. So you can go pretty crazy on that. So that's the main way I find my cheap flights. Couchsurfing. Now, the virus has made the whole couchsurfing thing go a bit weird. The way the couchsurfing website used to work was it was a free website, and you find people that have a couch you can crash on, and you can stay for free basically on their couch, and you also get to stay with a local. They meet a foreigner, you meet a local person, they can show you the local stuff, and it's cool. Since the virus, they've had some financial problems and they're trying to charge people to use the site now. So I don't know if a replacement for Couchsurfing is going to emerge, but that's the premise. And I've Couchsurfed a few times and met some good people on there. And also there are Couchsurfing meetups in most big cities every week, or there were before the virus. So I assume this will start again. So Couchsurfing is a good way, especially if you're on a very tight budget, a good way to get very cheap accommodation or free accommodation. HostelWorld.com, and there are some other good hostel apps, and this is really just an app to find hostels in pretty much every city on earth. So you go on there. The way I usually do it is I sort on price, so get the cheapest one at the top and then pick the first one with a good rating, so you can get good cheap hostels there. The great thing about Hostel World is you can pretty much guarantee that the place you're going to stay is good if it's got a high rating. The only place I've ever had highly rated hostels that weren't really good was in Almaty in Kazakhstan. For some reason, all the hostels there are pretty mediocre. They were fine, but pretty mediocre, run down buildings that hadn't had much money invested in them. Showers that don't really work, a lot of not good security, a lot of A lot of the good things you're looking for in hostels are not there. I guess because Almaty hasn't got a really well developed hostel infrastructure yet, but I'm sure that will come as more people go to Central Asia. But apart from there, pretty much everywhere else I've been in the world, when a hostel has a high rating, it's a really nice hostel. And that's especially true in Southeast Asia. There's some really amazing hostels there at very cheap prices. So hostelworld.com, Hostel Bookers, and some others. App in the air. Now, again, obviously the virus has affected this, but this is an app that scans your email and will suck in the flights that are in your email and put them in an app, and it will give you a watch app as well if you have an Apple Watch, and it will tell you things like the gate your flight's going from, stuff like that. That's kind of interesting. The number of miles you've flown since you got the app, stuff like that. WhatsApp is an obvious one. Now, I haven't used text messages or the Apple messaging app for 10 or 15 years because I've been out of the UK. But even in the UK, if someone has Android, the messaging experience just isn't as good. What I found traveling globally is WhatsApp is kind of the standard that most people use. Although recently I've got into Signal because that's, in theory, a lot more private and secure. Some people like Telegram. But WhatsApp tends to be the default messaging app when you're overseas because it doesn't use your text minutes. You can send WhatsApp messages to people with phones from any country. Audible and audiobooks. Now, I think audiobooks appeal to some people and not others. I really love audiobooks and I love podcasts as well because I can just walk around town. I can be doing the washing up. I can be doing other chores. I can be doing stuff that I don't have to be thinking, but when I'm moving around, and I can still read a book. This is why I really like audiobooks. I get way more books read because I'm into audiobooks, and Audible is the main service, although there are free services out there as well, and the quality is often not as good. And finally, 10, podcasting app. I use Overcast on the iPhone. But yeah, podcasting is great when you're on the road. If you're on a long flight, if you're on a long bus journey somewhere, if you have a podcasting app, it just makes the time go quicker, and it's just a great thing to have on your phone. So that was my 10 best apps for travelers, and I will see you guys on the road.